Informed learned participants under Government of Andhra Pradesh, Commissionerate of College Education. Here we developed a e-content on LMS portal which were developed the subject to our students. So before going to deep into my concept, first I welcome to you all and introducing myself. I am ALM Sai Shashidhar. I am doing lecturer in physics working at Government Degree College Patikonda. So my LMS content here I am discussed is under 5th semester we have a concept or a subject solar energy. Under solar energy here I am discussing about photovoltaic cell. So in this I am discussing about the photovoltaic cell. So the photovoltaic cell in my topic is majorly consists of learning objectives, prerequisites and introduction, content part and laterally applications here I am discussing in this photovoltaic cell. So before going to photovoltaic cell, so this is the learning objectives. So first deep going into the photovoltaic cell, first we have to understand the concept of cell. So cell in terms of physics, cell here we defined as it is an electrical device. All of us know cell is an electrical device. It constantly converts the chemical energy into electrical power. So this is the first basic concept about the cell. So while studying the photovoltaic cell, these are the learning objectives. So the learning objectives are firstly how to produce electricity by using photovoltaic cell. So these cells how to generate electricity and how it available for use, and also how to design a solar cell, and laterally the basic parts what are the constructions while the parts using in the solar cell, and next explanation principle involved in a solar cell. So there's certain in every concept there is some certain principle is involved. So what are the principle involved behind the photovoltaic cell here we discussed, and lastly we have discussed the applications of solar cell, where the solar cell is used and what are the advantages of solar cell. So these are the learning objectives while studying the photovoltaic cell. So first how to produce electricity, how to design solar cell, and what are the basic parts while we are using the construction of a solar cell, and what are the principle involved in a solar cell, and what are the applications of solar cell. So these are the some learning objectives while studying or learning the photovoltaic cell. So these are the prerequisites of a solar cell. Prerequisites, so whatever the additional we have to use to develop a solar cell, these are the first we have to take a light absorption, electron hole pair, sun, power grid. So and lastly we have to land for establishing a solar cell. Definitely we are having some land. So these are the free prerequisites of a solar cell. So this is the introduction. Before going to the content or working of photovoltaic cell, first we have to take something about the introduction. So photovoltaic cell is also known as a solar cell. So it is a solid state device. So it converts the solar energy into electrical energy, and it has maintained efficiency from a few percentage up to 20 to 30 percentage nearly. So it is a solid state device, but it has no moving parts, and it doesn't pollute the it doesn't pollute the environment by noise. So it doesn't have moving parts. So definitely it doesn't pollute the environment on basis of noise. The photovoltaic cell of a solar cell or solar cell having the lifetime about 20 to 30 years or more approximately. These are the some basic few points about the introduction. So this is also known as a photovoltaic cell is also known as a solar cell, solid state device. It converts whatever the radiation we are taking from the sun, that energy is directly when we are applying electrical circuit to the that that radiation will convert the electrical energy. So this maintains the efficiency nearly 20 to 30 percentage. It has no moving parts. So whenever it having the no moving parts, It doesn't pollute the environment on the basis of the noise. And the photovoltaic cell having the lifetime about 20 to 30 years or approximately or more. So this is the content. So before we have to discuss it about there is a principle involved in the solar cell. Here I am discussing about the principle. So what are the principle involved in the solar cell or photovoltaic cell is the principle involved in the working of a photovoltaic cell is the ejection of electron from the metal surface by striking it with the photons of a solar radiation, which subsequently move in an external circuit and produce the electricity energy. So whenever the photons striking the metal surface, so the radiation, whenever the sun radiation, whenever the solar radiation coming from the sun, so definitely the photons are involved. Whenever the photons are striking the uh, surface, electrons are ejected that metal surface. So whenever the electrons, these electrons, we are applying the external circuits to these electrons, definitely there is a electricity generation is there. This is the principle involved behind the solar cell. And next, this is the solar panel. So this is the arrangement of a solar cell. So here we are seeing the solar panel. So these are the some basic images of the solar cell, sorry, solar panel. So definitely here we are acquiring some land for establishing the solar panel, right? So construction. So how to construct a solar cell? So it consists of a ultra thin layer of phosphorus doped silicon named N type on a top of boron doped silicon on P type. So definitely in the construction of solar cell, silicon we are used. So why silicon are used? For the making of solar cell is silicon is the most available metal in the earth crust also. So here phosphorus doped silicon means N type. So how N type junction will be formed? When pentavalent impurities is added to the silicon crystal structure, there is a formation of N type. And whenever we are trivalent impurities is added to the silicon crystal type, there is a formation of P type junction. So finally, it consists of a solar cell consists of a ultra thin layer of phosphorus doped silicon on top of N type, sorry, top of silicon N type on top of boron doped P type silicon. So definitely there is a junction is formed between the namely junction PN junction, and a metallic grid forms one of the electrical contacts of the diode and allows light to fall on the semiconductor between the grid lines. So I have to see the diagram. I have to see. So this is P type semiconductor on the bottom and N type semiconductor on the top. Here we have to see there is a photons. Photons are striking the metal contact, and between the P type semiconductor and N type semiconductor there is a deflection region is formed. Under the P type semiconductor there is a positive contact is there. Under n-type semiconductor, sorry, above the n-type semiconductor there is a negative contact, means here we have to apply an external circuit to the this combination. So whenever the depletion layer is formed, so here we have to see an anti-reflecting layer placed between the grid lines increase the amount of light transmitted to the semiconductor. So whenever we are placed grid lines on anti-reflecting line, so definitely light transmitted to the semiconductor will be increased. The next, the cell other electrical contact is formed by metallic layer on the back of a solar cell. This is the basic construction of a solar cell. And next diagram we have to see this is also the electron hole pair are generated. So when the solar radiation strike the metal surface, definitely electron hole pairs are generated. This is the depletion region. So previously we have to know what is the electron hole pair forms the depletion region. So how this solar cell will be working? So here I am discussing about the Working of a solar cell. See, whenever the light radiation falls on the PN junction diode, electron hole pairs are generated. So whatever the radiation comes from the sun, the radiation means the radiation in the form of light radiation. So that light radiation will falls on the PN junction. So whenever that light radiation falls on the PN junction, definitely electron hole pairs are generated. See, electron in this region, electrons hole pair, this is the diagram of electron hole pair generation. So electron hole pairs are generated. When these electron poles are generated, so the metal surface is absorbing the some light radiation, right? The electrons are drifted towards n type and are connected of the n type, and holes are drifted towards p type and are collected at the p type end. In p type semiconductor, we all of know we all we are all know, in p type semiconductor, holes are the majority charge carriers, and in n type semiconductor there is a electrons are the majority charge carriers, and in p-type semiconductor the minority charge carriers are electrons, and in n-type semiconductor the minority charge carriers are holes. See, in this diagram, this is the holes are generated towards p-type semiconductor, and electrons are generated, this is the negative charge are generated towards the n-type semiconductor. There is a depletion region is formed, there is a depletion region is formed between the p-type and n-type semiconductors. So when these two ends, whenever we are p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor, these two ends are electrically connected to a conductor. We are all know what is meant by conductor. All of us know what is meant by conductor. So these two ends are electrically connected to a conductor. Definitely there is a flow of electrons in the external circuit. So whenever these electrons are flow in the external circuit, there is a generation of electricity. So that generation of electricity is available for use. This is the working behind the solar cell. So these, whenever these two ends are electrically connected, this is the, in this diagram you have to see. So this is the electrical circuit. Whenever we are connected electrical circuit, definitely there is a generation of electricity. So when the two ends are electrically connected to a conductor, there is a flow of electrons in the external circuit. Thus the this current is available for use. So this energy is used for in the homes, daily life, and other other activities in our daily life. So after that, some applications here I am discussing about the solar cell. The solar cells are used in the toys, watches, and calculated etc. So next, solar cell are also used in the water pumping and treatment. Portable power supplies are also using the solar cell. Satellite communication, remote light sensing, emergency power. So these are the some basic applications, of solar cell while using in our daily life. So in, whenever we compare the taking the solar cell and while using the electricity by using solar cell, there is a power consumption will be less in our daily life, or we can take the homely advantage. So definitely there is a power consumption or less electricity bills while using the solar panels in our nearest area, and whatever the land will be available nearest in our towns. So these are the some applications of solar cell. So I can take the brief introduction about the total concept. So before going to the, we can communicate this. So firstly we can take the photovoltaic cell learning objectives. The learning objectives are electricity, how to produce electricity, so how to design of solar cell, what are the basic parts while using the construction of a solar cell, and there is a principle involved, what are the principle involved in a solar cell, and finally applications here we discussed. So prerequisites: light absorption, electron hole pair, sun, power grid, land establishing for a solar panel. So photovoltaic cell is also known as a solar cell, solid state device, 20 to 30% is efficiency, no environment pollutant, means less environment pollutant, 20 to 30 years having the lifetime. So principle: whenever the radiation, or when the electrons are ejected from the metal surface by striking it the photons of solar radiation, there is, whenever these electrons are moving in the external circuit, definitely electricity are generated and it will be available for use. These are the some basic diagram of the solar panel. These are the we are using in our daily life, so to save the power consumption. So this is the some, this is the some image for the solar panel here we are using under the construction. So in this construction, so we can use the silicon crystal. So we can add pentavalent impurities to the silicon crystal, there is n-type junction is formed, and we can trivalent impurities is added to the to the silicon crystal, p-type junction is formed between, definitely, hence p and p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor, hence there is a junction formed between these two. So and also an anti-reflecting layer placed. So what is the purpose while using the anti-reflecting layer? Means the, for the light transmitted to the semiconductor, for that purpose here we are using the anti-reflecting layer. This is the some basic diagram. So depletion layer under p-type semiconductor, on top of n-type semiconductor, between p-type semiconductor and n-type semiconductor we are taking depletion region, photons are striking the metal surfaces. So here we can take the external circuit also. This is the electron hole pair generation, and between electron hole pair junction there is a depletion layer is formed, and these are the working of solar cell. So whenever the electrons are drifted toward n-type semiconductor and holes are drifted towards p-type semiconductor, definitely these two ends are connected to electrically connected by a conductor. There is a flow of electrons in the external circuit. These flow of electrons in the external circuit can be generated a electrical current, and thus electrical current is available for use. These are the some applications. So finally, while studying the photovoltaic cell, these are the learning outcomes. So while studying how, understanding the construction of a solar cell, analyzing the working of a solar cell, how it will be effectively working of a solar panel, and we can save the electricity bills by using solar panels. So eco-friendly energy source means less percentage of chances to pollute the environment while using the solar panels in our daily life. So these are the some few learning outcomes while studying the photovoltaic cell. So you can go through some reference book, Solar Photovoltaics and Fundamentals and Applications by Chetan Singh Solanki, and also Science and Technology of Photovoltaic Cell by P. Jairam Reddy. These are the some reference book. You can go through these reference book. You can analyze the concept little bit more. So these are the some basic concepts books of photovoltaic cell. So declaration myself, I am Shishidhar. So LMS portal, here I am declared that related to the topics were prepared on my own. So thank you everyone, thank you.